A man walks up to another man's wife and tells her husband that she's pregnant with his child. The husband immediately files for divorce, citing adultery. This sounds like something straight out of a television drama, but this actually happened, and the man at the center of this scandal is someone who has spent decades telling other people they're not good enough on national television. Simon Cowell has crushed the dreams of thousands of hopeful singers. He's made contestants cry on stage. He's been called cruel, heartless, and the most hated man in entertainment. Yet somehow, that same man now sits on a fortune worth $550 million. He owns mansions on 3 continents. His car collection alone is worth more than most people will earn in a lifetime. And the woman from that scandal, she's now his wife. But here's what most people don't know. Before Simon Cowell became the face of brutal honesty on television, he was a college dropout who couldn't hold down a job. He failed so badly at his first business that it completely collapsed. And the only reason he got his foot in the door of the music industry was because his father pulled strings to get him a job in a mailroom. So how did a man who started sorting mail become powerful enough to create superstars like One Direction and decide who gets famous? What does his life actually look like behind the cutting remarks and the expensive suits? And what happened in his personal life that nearly destroyed everything he built? By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how Simon Cowell built his empire, why his $25 million Malibu mansion is just one piece of his real estate puzzle, and how a man who makes people cry for a living became a devoted family man. This is the complete story of Simon Cowell. Simon Philip Cowell entered the world on October 7, 1959, in Lambeth, London. His family was solidly middle class, nothing extraordinary on the surface, but the people who raised him would plant seeds that would eventually grow into an entertainment empire. His mother, Julie Brett, was a professional ballet dancer and a well-known socialite of her era. She brought an artistic sensibility to the household that Simon would later channel into his understanding of performance and star quality. His father, Eric Cowell, wore many hats throughout his career. He worked as a music industry executive, dabbled in real estate, and invested in property development. The entertainment business was literally in Simon's blood. The family eventually settled in the peaceful village of Elstree in Hertfordshire, a far cry from the bustling London streets where Simon was born. He grew up alongside his younger brother Nicholas and had 3 stepbrothers and a stepsister from his father's previous relationships. It was a full house, and Simon learned early how to stand out in a crowd. His educational path took him through Radlett Preparatory School and later Dover College before landing at Windsor Technical College. He managed to pass his exams in English, literature, and sociology, but academics were never really his thing. Simon had bigger ambitions, even if he didn't quite know what they were yet. After leaving school, Simon drifted. He bounced between small jobs, never quite finding his footing. His father arranged interviews for him, but Simon showed little interest and had a difficult time getting along with people. He seemed destined for mediocrity. Then everything changed when his father secured him a position in the mailroom at EMI Music Publishing. It wasn't glamorous. Simon spent his days sorting letters and running errands. But for the first time in his life, he was surrounded by music, and something clicked. He worked his way up from that mailroom until he became an assistant to an A&R executive by 1979. He was finally in the game. In 1985, Simon decided he was ready to be his own boss. He partnered with a colleague named Ian Burton to launch Fanfare Records. The following year, they scored their first real hit when Simon produced a song called So Macho, performed by American singer Sinita. For a moment, it looked like Simon had figured it all out. But success is rarely a straight line. By 1989, Fanfare Records had collapsed. The company couldn't sustain itself, and Simon found himself back at square one. He was 30 years old, his business had failed, and he had nothing to show for years of work. Most people would have taken this as a sign to pursue something safer. Most people would have accepted defeat. Simon saw it as a lesson. He wasn't done with the music industry. The music industry wasn't done with him either. BMG came calling with an offer to work as an A&R consultant. Simon accepted, and this time he approached his work differently. He wasn't just looking for good singers anymore, he was looking for stars. The BMG years taught Simon Cowell something crucial about the entertainment business. Talent matters, but packaging talent matters more. He produced music for everything, from World Wrestling Federation events to the Power Rangers franchise. These weren't prestigious projects, but they made money, and they taught Simon how to identify what audiences actually wanted. His instincts paid off spectacularly in 1995 when he produced a cover of Unchained Melody. The song dominated UK radio stations and sat at the #1 position for 7 consecutive weeks. Simon Cowell was no longer just another music executive. He was someone who could create hits. The new millennium brought an opportunity that would transform Simon's entire career trajectory. In 2001, he was invited to join a new British television program called Pop Idol as a judge. The show's premise was simple. Ordinary people would compete for a recording contract while a panel of judges evaluated their performances. What nobody expected was how Simon would approach the role. While other judges offered encouragement and constructive feedback, Simon said exactly what he thought. If someone couldn't sing, he told them. If their performance was boring, he didn't pretend otherwise. Audiences had never seen anything like it on television. His signature phrase became legendary. He would often preface his harshest critiques by saying he didn't mean to be rude before delivering devastating assessments that left contestants speechless. Viewers couldn't look away. They tuned in specifically to see what Simon would say next. Love him or hate him, everyone had an opinion about Simon Cowell. But Simon wasn't just collecting a paycheck as a judge, he was playing a longer game. Through his own venture, S Records, he signed both the winners and runners-up of Pop Idol competitions. Artists like Gareth Gates and Will Young went on to dominate the UK charts, and Simon profited from both sides of the equation. He was the judge who determined who won, and he was the businessman who profited from their success. In 2002, American producers took notice. They brought Simon across the Atlantic to serve as a judge on American Idol. His brutal honesty translated perfectly for American audiences who were hungry for authenticity in an era of polished television personalities. Simon became an international celebrity, but he still wasn't satisfied with just being a judge on someone else's show. In 2002, he founded Psycho Entertainment, a company that would handle music production, television development, and film projects. 2 years later, he created The X Factor, a talent competition format that he owned and controlled entirely. The X Factor became a global phenomenon. It launched in the UK, then spread to Australia, the United States, and dozens of other countries. Simon brought in celebrity judges like Demi Lovato, Britney Spears, and Kelly Rowland. He won awards for his mentorship after his contestants claimed top positions. He wasn't just finding talent anymore, he was manufacturing fame on an industrial scale. Then came America's Got Talent in 2006. This show expanded beyond singers to include magicians, comedians, dancers, and performers of every variety. It attracted over 12 million viewers and eventually spread to more than 70 countries worldwide. Simon Cowell had become the most powerful talent broker in entertainment history. The crown jewel of Simon's talent factory emerged on the X Factor stage in 2010. 5 young men who had auditioned as solo artists were grouped together and given a second chance as a band. Their name was One Direction. Under Simon's guidance, they became one of the best-selling boy bands in music history, with a fan base that spanned the globe. His ability to spot and cultivate talent had reached its ultimate expression, and all of that success was about to translate into a lifestyle that most people can only dream about. All of those chart-topping artists and record-breaking television shows translated into something very tangible for Simon Cowell. Money, lots of it. His net worth now sits at an estimated $550 million, and he spends it with the same boldness he brings to his television commentary. His London residence sits in the exclusive Holland Park neighborhood, an area where even modest homes cost millions. Simon's mansion is estimated to be worth $20 million and features amenities that most people only see in movies. The property includes a private gym where he works out without the hassle of public spaces, a swimming pool for relaxation, and a dedicated cinema room where he can watch films in complete comfort. But London is just one piece of his real estate portfolio. In 2017, Simon purchased a stunning property in Malibu, California for $25 million. This oceanfront estate spans 1.63 acres and includes 6 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, and floor-to-ceiling glass windows that frame breathtaking views of the Pacific Ocean. Outside, there's a plunge pool, hot tub, barbecue area, and a koi pond for those quiet moments of reflection. When Simon wants a true escape from the demands of his entertainment empire, he retreats to his beachfront property in Barbados. This Caribbean paradise offers private beach access and the kind of seclusion that money can buy, but fame often prevents. Then there's the car collection. Simon Cowell has spent over $10 million assembling an automotive portfolio that would make any enthusiast jealous. His Rolls-Royce Phantom, custom painted in jet black, costs around $500,000 and remains one of the most prestigious vehicles on the road. The interior features leather and wood accents that define pure luxury. His Ferrari 458, purchased in 2012 for approximately $200,000, represents Italian engineering at its finest. The Lamborghini Gallardo Spider in his garage features a 513 horsepower engine and cost around $202,000. There's also a Bentley Arnage that set him back $230,000, along with an Aston Martin DB9, a Ferrari 360, and a classic Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud 3. Perhaps the most impressive vehicle Simon ever owned was his Bugatti Veyron, a hypercar that represented the absolute pinnacle of automotive engineering. In 2014, he sold it at auction for $1.25 million and donated the proceeds to charity. Even Simon's car sales benefit others. His vacations match the extravagance of his possessions. Simon regularly charters super yachts along the French Riviera and throughout the Caribbean, particularly around his beloved Barbados. These floating palaces cost approximately $450,000 per week and come equipped with helipads, swimming pools, hot tubs, and suites that rival 5-star hotels. When he's not on the water, Simon retreats to high-end European spa resorts where a single night can cost $25,000. These annual getaways have become sacred times spent with his family, a chance to recharge before returning to the spotlight. His wardrobe reflects the same attention to quality. Simon invests over $500,000 annually in custom-made suits from designers like Bottega Veneta and Tom Ford. His signature look includes dozens of custom black jackets, each valued at $10,000 or more. The aviator sunglasses he's rarely seen without come from luxury brands like Cartier and Bulgari. Fine dining is another indulgence. Simon frequents Michelin-starred restaurants in London and Los Angeles, where chefs' tasting menus feature beluga caviar, white truffles, and imported Japanese Wagyu beef. These meals are accompanied by rare champagne vintages, and the final bill often exceeds $10,000 per sitting. But all the money in the world couldn't buy Simon what he wanted most, and the story of how he found it would nearly cost him everything. For all his professional success, Simon Cowell's personal life has been far more complicated. The story of how he met his wife, Lauren Silverman, reads like a tabloid headline, because for years, that's exactly what it was. Simon and Lauren first crossed paths in 2004 at the Sandy Lane Resort in Barbados. At the time, both of them were with other people. Lauren was married to Andrew Silverman, a successful New York real estate developer. Their meeting was innocent enough, but something sparked between them that would eventually ignite into scandal. The two didn't officially begin dating until 2009, and for several years, their relationship remained relatively private. Then, in 2013, everything exploded. Andrew Silverman discovered that Lauren was pregnant, and the child wasn't his. It was Simon's. The divorce filing made international headlines. Andrew cited adultery as the grounds for ending his marriage. And suddenly, Simon Cowell, the man who had spent years judging others on television, found himself being judged by the entire world. The tabloids had a field day. Commentators questioned his character. It was the kind of scandal that destroys careers. But Simon handled it the same way he handles everything else. He moved forward. The divorce was settled out of court, sparing Simon the embarrassment of testifying publicly about the affair. And on February 14, 2014, Valentine's Day, Lauren gave birth to their son, Eric. Fatherhood changed Simon Cowell in ways that surprised everyone who knew him. The man famous for his harsh criticism and tough exterior softened visibly when it came to his son. He has spoken openly about how Eric transformed his priorities and gave him a new perspective on life. Simon sees reflections of his younger self in Eric, the adventurous spirit, the determination, the refusal to back down from challenges. He has expressed hope that Eric might one day take over the business empire he's built, though he's careful to let his son find his own path. The family also includes Adam, Lauren's son from her marriage to Andrew Silverman. Simon stepped into a stepfather role, and by all accounts, the blended family functions smoothly, despite its unconventional origins. What began as scandal eventually became stability. Simon and Lauren eventually married, turning a relationship that started in controversy into something lasting. The man who spent years avoiding commitment had finally found something worth committing to. Simon Cowell's impact on entertainment extends far beyond the artists he's discovered and the shows he's created. He fundamentally changed how talent competitions work and what audiences expect from reality television. Before Simon, judges were expected to be encouraging and supportive. After Simon, authenticity became the standard. But his legacy isn't limited to business achievements. Despite his tough public persona, Simon has demonstrated genuine commitment to charitable causes. He has been a longtime supporter of organizations like Children in Need and Comic Relief, both dedicated to improving the lives of disadvantaged young people. His contributions have provided resources to children facing difficult circumstances around the world. His passion for animals reveals another dimension of his character. Simon actively supports PETA and the RSPCA, advocating for the ethical treatment of animals. He currently shares his home with 4 dogs named Squidly, Diddley, Freddy, and Daisy, and by all accounts, he treats them like family members. He's donated significant money to prevent animal cruelty globally. The controversies that have followed Simon throughout his career deserve acknowledgement too. His judging style has faced criticism from those who believe his harsh comments take an emotional toll on contestants who are simply pursuing their dreams. Some former participants have spoken about the psychological impact of public rejection on such a massive stage. There have also been allegations that his production companies exploited contestants for financial gain, prioritizing profits over the well-being of the artists who competed on his shows. These accusations have never derailed his career, but they remain part of the conversation surrounding his legacy. On a personal level, Simon has admitted to struggling with dark moods and self-criticism throughout his life. He's always been brutally honest, even with himself. Stories from his childhood suggest this trait appeared early. At age 4, he reportedly told his mother that her pillbox hat made her look like a poodle. The savage honesty was there from the beginning. His quirks add color to his public image. Simon is reportedly obsessed with cleanliness, taking around 3 baths daily, along with multiple steam sessions. He owns more than 30 black t-shirts from the same brand and has built an entire aesthetic around his signature look. The accolades speak for themselves. In 2008, the Daily Telegraph named him one of the 100 most powerful people in British culture. Time magazine included him on their list of the 100 most influential people in the world in both 2004 and 2010. He received a BAFTA Special Award for his contributions to entertainment. And in 2018, he was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. From a mailroom in London to mansions on 3 continents, from business failure to a $550 million empire, from scandal to family man, Simon Cowell's journey defies simple categorization. He's been villain and visionary, critic and creator, ruthless businessman and devoted father. Love him or hate him, his influence on modern entertainment is undeniable. And at 65 years old, Simon Cowell shows no signs of slowing down. The next chapter of his story is still being written. What aspect of Simon Cowell's journey surprised you the most? Was it the scandal that nearly derailed him, or the transformation that fatherhood brought? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of entertainment's most polarizing figures, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more stories of success, controversy, and everything in between.